good stuff too, but
Mm.
you figure it out. Hey, people, how's it going? We're back, happy, and we're back. We're back, happy, and we're back. Happy STURD-O-WEEN, by the way, everybody. Happy STURD-O fucking Ween. And tonight, on episode 510, we'll be discussing the film The Confessional, which is from the UK.
Yes. And
There
I'm
you
going
go.
to apologize in advance. When I talk about this film, I'm almost always going to talk about it as House of Mortal Sin, which was the
No, you're fine.
original title. So I just want to let everybody know that that is the title that I'm probably going to, because it's the way I always knew the film.
I like
Hey,
that title better.
me too.
Yeah.
It kind of fits better than the confessional because there wasn't too many confessions going on.
Oh, there was
Just
one
the
in the
beginning.
beginning.
Just the one in the beginning. But as far as like, yeah, that title fits. Once you figure out what this priest is doing, that title fits so much better.
Mhm.
And it actually, yeah, so much better.
Becomes judge, jury, and executioner.
Yep.
So,
Sure as hell
and
does.
and of course, there specifically the Roman Catholic Church, the concept of mortal sin is a key element, and his actions and his just kind of delirium of what he makes sense of makes more sense. So yeah, it is a superior title, but either way, I think it's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, so this was my first time watch for this movie. I watched it
Same.
earlier, and I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't crazy about it. It wasn't bad, but it just didn't. I was hoping there'd be more to it. I was hoping there'd be a little bit more to it. Like I wish we got I guess more of a deeper look on the priests and kind of seeing him do quite a bit more, or even things being done more. And then later on we figure out how
Well, the
that it is.
mother, the thing with the situation with the mother was a little confusing in the beginning. I'm like, what kind? I was like, what is this backstory with the fucking lady being mean to his mother? I'm like, what the hell's going on over here? So I was getting confused on that part in the beginning, but then I was like, okay, now I started tying in with it. I started to figure it out, but it was really weird in the beginning. I was like, oh, so there's another story behind the scenes here, but then they hardly go to it. It's only like a few scenes. You're like, okay, they forgot about that story, but it's I don't know. It's like you said, it's I liked it. It's not like you said, it's not great. Like, oh my god, you gotta. I'm not going to sit there like, yo, you gotta go see this shit. Real, it's like awesome. Like nothing stuck out like really like worthy. Like, oh, you see that part? That type of situation.
Like really,
but but it was a good movie through the whole thing. I enjoyed it. But I know Trevor, he's gonna go deep in this shit.
Pete Walker has like a run of classic exploitation horror films, and there's one that does not fit this, and we'll talk about that later, but almost universally everybody says that these movies are great but could lose about 10 to 15 minutes. And that is something, as I read and I see interviews, that's something that comes up more and more, which is not a bad thing. I think pacing is very important for this film. I do think there's definitely some area you can cut, but it actually it's where, okay, so the film he's most remembered for, I think he's still alive, I don't know, is called Frightmare. And it's just a little bit over an hour and a half, and it's one of the more interesting takes on cannibalism ever in cinema, and stars okay, so the older lady that had the Mrs. Brosnan, that was the one that was torturing the old lady, Sheila Keith is just, there was no one like Sheila Keith. She plays the main character, and she just owns that film, and that's considered Walker's perfect horror film. But No, he's in certain ways he's very much an auteur because he used a lot of the same actors. He always had a hand in writing. He usually produced and directed, and there was a stock team that worked with him, hand in hand, for about 5, 6 films. Die Screaming Marianne. There was Frightmare. There was House of Mortal Sin. The Comeback. Yeah. The Flesh and Blood Show. These are all very, very well made British horror films, and the British horror film is something very interesting because when you walk up to somebody and you say, well, tell me about British horror, the first thing that's going to come to mind is Hammer movies. And to a lot of people, um, they never really get a chance to dig deeper. And there's so much. But I think Pete Walker is the best of the filmmakers in the indie horror arena in the 70s in England. But another really interesting thing about him is before and after this run, he did they were soft core, but basically did sex films. Because at this time, two things that were making money were horror films and sex comedies. That was your British vernacular cinema of that time. So if you were going out to see a movie, you were probably going to see one of those, unless it was a high end like an Ealing or something.
Sounds like a lot of sticky floors. But
Well, that's more 42nd Street, but
that's Pee Wee.
Well, yeah, I mean,
hey, listen, man, that's that's what people did back in the day.
there is no difference between a sticky theater floor in the UK and a sticky theater floor in New Jersey. At least I like to hope there isn't a difference because that person might want to see a doctor.
Oh, wow. You're probably right, though. You're absolutely right. Troy, what's good?
Hey, Troy.
How's it going, brother?
So, Troy.
Glad you're here, man. Glad you're here. Make sure you guys go check out Troy Hill Talks everywhere. YouTube, TikTok. Yeah, probably IG. He has some really dope content, some really fun content. And he also does Troy Hill, I think it's called Troy Hill's DJ or some shit. I forgot. It's something DJ, but he does a dope one. He does a dope one on that. He does some DJing and stuff live Friday and Saturday nights. It's fun. It's fun. And he has some dope stuff that me and him been talking about coming up over on the good old TikTok. So you guys need to definitely tune in and check his stuff out. Sturdy and the Birdies. Yep. Scene Snobs. Again, another awesome content you guys want to check out over there. Right here. Shout out to them. Glad you stopped in. How's it going? Hope it's going great. And yeah. He knows a lot about movies. And he's fucking tall. And then the man, the myth, the legend, my man Chad. Chad, what's going? How's it going? I hope you're doing amazing. Go check out the Video Store Clerks. Chad, you need to sign out of your own damn name and sign into your YouTube, your podcast name, Video Store Clerks, and be commenting with that. So I can tell people to go check that out. So go check out the Video Store Clerks. They also have an amazing show as well. You know, I like to talk to my people out there. But one thing I want to say real quick before I forget, I should say, is one thing that does stand out, because I do remember you saying nothing really stood out to you, James. One thing that did stand out to me that was probably my favorite scene in the movie is when the priest has like that gold ball thing on the chain and he beats that guy in the face with it.
Yeah.
Yo,
that's probably one of the best scenes in the film.
I was not expecting that. Like, I'm just like, I was like, what the hell? Because they kept like showing the guys were talking, because they kept talking to him as he's just like walking, kind of spinning this thing on the chain. I'm just like, what the fuck? And and in the back of my head, I'm like, I hope he hits him with it, but I'm not. I don't know if he's going to, and he did. And I was like, yes, that helped. That helped.
I just don't understand it. The dude is like 75 years old. You could have bum rushed him and fucking. The dude's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" Oh, backing up like, "Oh, I'm scared and shit."
I feel like if you would have swung a punch at him, like the wind from your punch would have knocked him over. I'm not saying everybody at that age, because he was old, or he at least looked old. I mean, no offense, but that could also be like a white 55, a bad white 55. You never know. You never know. Some age gracefully, like wine, and some age like prunes. And by 37, they look like they're 97, and it's bad. So he could have been 37. We don't know. Either way, I feel like half
He
a
had
punch would
an
have knocked him out.
advantage. I mean, he was a priest in the early 1970s, and just by having that, the odds of somebody approaching that character off the street in a way that they feel like they're threatened, that definitely works to the priest advantage.
True.
No,
By the way,
Tommy
the
Potts, he
priest
was
is
more
a
of a
sloppy
surprise.
killer in this movie. By the way,
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Yes.
like in
Thanks
this
for
modern
popping in
times, he
again.
would have got caught on the first day.
Mm.
This dude was like really sloppy about his kills. He just ends up just like beating the guy. Like he didn't even kill him. He just beat him and teach him a lesson.
Mm.
He just let him goes to the hospital. He just lets him go to the hospital and
Again,
shit.
I guess it's back to what Trevor was saying back in that time, and then you got to figure how important the church was and how important the priest was. So it's like
Mm.
I can't snitch on him. Like no, seriously, it's like, and they probably still don't. I mean, there's a lot of wild shit that's happened. I'm not going to say it on here,
Mm.
but that we know has happened, and it takes years for stuff to even happen to them. Versus like in reality, I'm the type of person like he did what? Oh, I don't give a shit if he's up there preaching. I'm gonna go up there and fuck him up right now.
Mm.
Like that's some dirty
Yep.
shit. But some people are just like, no, that's Father so and
Yeah.
so. That's Father got his ass whooped. That's what that is.
Yeah, especially with the main character, because she was telling everybody, no one believed her just because it was a priest.
Jenny. Mm.
But that's how it always is, though. It's just like, and it's. I mean, with when it's like that, and it's like, it's so fucking crazy to where you can have 57 people come to you and tell you the same story, just on different days. And oh no, you 57 women are lying. He wouldn't do that. What about the kids?
Mm-hmm.
Well, mentioning about a priest and everything, it's kind of interesting because the movie was actually made to be controversial. And it was one of the few by Pete Walker that actually didn't become controversial, which was funny because it does, push a lot of social buttons that a lot of films didn't at that time. In certain ways, it's quite progressive because, this was prior to the influx of, priest-led horror movies. Also, it predates when certain issues within the church were actually brought to light. A big thing to remember watching, because if you just watch it in itself, yes, it is supposed to be blasphemous, but it's important to understand that Pete Walker was raised Catholic and went to Catholic schools. And this was a project that it was a pet project for him because he did see a lot of horrible things happen, which, I'm by no way worse to the Catholic Church. You mean Boy Scouts of America, whatever, you get a whole bunch of people involved in something like that, and this various shit happens. But this was an important film for Pete to make. And surprisingly, it did not cause controversy. But another thing that's really awesome about the film is that you have Father Cutler. And Father Cutler is the total opposite of the main vicar, which I cannot remember his name. He's played by an actor named Anthony Sharp.
Okay.
But they are two sides of the Catholic Church. Point, he meets with somebody in the diocese that's very high up, and they're older potentially than the particular priest, and they're very liberal. So Walker also was painting this idea that there are elements within this particular organization, which could be any organization, but this is one he grew up in, that need to go. So it was painting it in a very, like, over the top way, but that's what Walker was trying to say with the movie.
Hmm.
Because I mean, Cutler is sweet as pie, and he is the epitome of what every religious man should be: is generous, giving, and also questions and understands that that's part of being human. Um, he is the embodiment of what became Vatican II later on, as far as the popular priest of a parish. So yeah, I mean, if Cutler was not involved, then yeah, I think it would have been completely idiotic. But that's one of the charms of the film. I love the actor. Norman Eshley plays Cutler, and
Okay.
there's also this interesting, like, cat and mouse relationship between him and the other woman played by Stephanie Beacham, who lives with Jenny. So I felt that was a high point of the movie.
What are some of your favorite parts of the movie, or if you do have a favorite scene?
Well,
Or
I don't say
scene
favorite parts. If
over?
they say, so the scene that sticks out to me, that I was like, oh, that's kind of fucked up, is
Mhm.
at the end when the priest was talking to the other priest, because he came in and he seen how that priest killed the girl, that his girlfriend, the sister of Jenny,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and the priest is talking to him like, oh, like, hey, she was the one holding you back from God type,
Mhm.
nothing stopped you now. So he just turns around. He's like, you're right. Okay. I didn't see this. And he just leaves.
Mhm.
Just leave. I'm like, what the fuck was that? I'm like, okay, you're not no hero. He's gone.
Not at all.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Not at all.
that made it that then the ending was weird. Like,
Mhm.
so that happened. Then right after that, the priest is like looking around, closing the house. His mother's dead in a chair. Fucking girl's dead. The one lady kills herself over him. They're all dead. Like, he has to cover all this up now. The one
Mhm.
priest is gone. Then the girl Jenny's still alive, and it ends. I'm like, to be
What the fuck?
continued? What the fuck is going on?
What is this? What is this? Like, why did it end like that? Why did it have to end like
Yeah,
that? And
I was
my
like,
thing with, oh, go ahead. I was gonna say my thing with that too, James. It's like it was that long and then ends like that. I'm like, what the fuck? You couldn't at least complete it after all that?
Well, I think for Jenny and how the ending is set up is just to kind of give you the idea that just there is, okay, this is the line of death and horror that now leads to the climax of her trauma. That's how I read it. But it does stop. One of my favorite scenes is when the Sheila Keith character, who basically, from what I understand, is the mother, really pushed the priest, played by Anthony Sharp, into the priesthood,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
Mrs. Broadazon is reluctantly there with him, and plays that occasionally in other films too. But there's a scene in which she tries to kill the mother, and then her and Anthony Sharp just get into it, and that's like this amazing explosion of awesome character acting. Because this film actually has a really good cast.
Mhm.
Anthony Sharp was a legend of British cinema. Always did character acting, but was always that. Um, Susan Penningham, who played oh Jenny Welch.
Mhm.
She Amazing numbers of credits to her name. Yeah, Vanessa Welch, played by Stephanie Beacham. I mean, she insane resume, which included a starring role in the Marlon Brando film called The Nightcomers. So I mean, for a film that was made for virtually nothing, this is about as A game as you're going to get for British exploitation cinema at the time. The only thing that would have made it better is if Anthony Sharp actually had been Peter Cushing, it would have been awesome, just because it was Peter Cushing. But you can't have everything.
Can't.
Oh, by the way, when I looked this up, there's another title it has for it too.
The
There's
Confessional Murders.
The Confessional Murder. Yes, that's
Yep.
it.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 titles for this movie.
Yep.
Really?
It had quite a life on VHS. Let's put it that way. Like most things, back in the day, all
they put on the shelf. They put on the shelf for the one. It starts selling, and they're like, "Yo, just change the name and put it back on the shelf."
Yeah, you go through the catalogs as a video store owner, and you just rip out the horror section, stamp it, and then you wouldn't notice that another company had bought it under the same name after you rip out the horror order form, and so.
Oh shit! What else? Damn, what was I gonna say? Oh, the one. So the beginning when the girl jumps out the window, commits to the S word. I don't want to say it.
Mm-hmm. Self-expulsion.
There you go. So her mother is stalking the priest. She had a hunch that the priest made her do it. Then finds out that he did have, like, he's doing the shit because she's seen him like put the body in the ground and everything, and how he's messing with that with Jenny. So she's like, I don't understand like when Jenny said, "Okay, come with me, go to the cops." Oh, he's a priest; they don't believe me. But if he's that dangerous, why are you going to the church and being around them and going in there, especially let him feed you something? Don't let that dude put something in your mouth, especially when you're in there when you sit there arguing on your knees near, don't let him put nothing in their mouth. But I don't know, man. I understand she's like, he won't do nothing in front of all these people, probably feeling I'm protected. But he was kind of smart in a way. So like, what did he give her? He caused the heart attack, right? He gave her like a different tablet or something.
I believe so. I thought it was a Eucharist that was poisoned.
Yeah. And it caused a heart attack. And back then, there wasn't really much technology to pinpoint like what happened. They're like, oh yeah,
what it was.
And honestly, in a town like that, would they have woman that age dies in the middle of mass?
Yeah.
And there is a certain level of truth of there were in certain towns certain untouchables, and one of them would be your religious leaders, and the real horror of Anthony Sharp's Killer Vicar is much more, to me. Okay, of course, what's going on with Jenny is over the top in the point that he becomes physically obsessive, but it shows that he's actually he's committing a massive mortal sin by recording his confessionals. I mean, that if that were to get out, he would be expelled from the church.
Oh, hell yeah.
But it's so much easier to go after young people, especially ones that have come to you to whatever, and blackmail them into doing whatever, no matter how dire it is when you've placed so much shame upon them. And that's one of the real diabolical elements of this vicar, and why the vicar is over the top and he's a caricature, but he's also a very, very distinct figure of, this is the old guard church. This is the church that is going to put fear in you to do what is right. And there was a very distinct change, especially in the Vatican II years leading up. So, I've always thought this has been one of Walker's more meaty films as far as like having meaning. His other horror films are really, really awesome and a lot of fun. But this is the one that I would say is the closest to massive social commentary.
Okay. And you've seen this one quite a few times then, Trevor, right?
Yeah, it's one of my favorites of his.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Okay, I got a question for any UK fan base. I understand this was made in 76, but I don't know if it's a tradition. But growing up, is it normal for siblings to sleep naked in the same bed? Am I the only one that noticed that? I understand they're like, okay, hey, you're staying here. We'll sleep in the same bed. But they're sleeping, they're completely naked.
They were naked as shit. Girls,
and not just that, you got the priest down there in his boxers, just chilling there making eggs. And he's a priest. You're like, wait a minute, what's going on?
It was a wild time, James. Look at what did we just say?
Yep.
Grotesque.
What did we just say? So we're gonna be reviewing Grotesque on Tuesday. We'll put that on the list.
Yep.
James, write it down. Don't forget.
Grotesque.
Starts with a G.
Ends with a esque.
There you go. Let me just save this folder. Boom. Grotesque. Remove.
And it's going to land on Dr. Lamb. That's my guess.
Dr. Lamb? I'm going to shuffle again.
That's what
I got to add more on, which I will during the weekend.
Look.
No, the Cannibal Man, James.
Damn.
Oh, nice.
Oh, boy. Who put this on here?
Oh, you know who. You know
who. This one might be crazy, huh?
We're going to find out. We got Grotesque and the Cannibal Man next week, which...
Now, is this a movie? You sure this is not banned and we're going to be able to find this?
Oh, Cannibal Man?
Yeah.
Or Grotesque?
No, Cannibal Man.
Cannibal Man's actually very easy to find. It's a classic of Spanish horror cinema. Eloy de la Iglesia, outstanding director, but don't go into the film expecting a bloody mess.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's what I was worried about, because I was like, is it like was it Green Inferno or something? I was like, where it's going to ban in 20 countries.
Yeah.
Not that wild. It's not that wild.
Not that wild. There's a lot of subtext in the film, but it's not eating people.
Okay. That's fair. That's more of a STURD-O-Vision type of thing. That midnight weird shit.
Emmanuel and the Last Cannibals kind of thing. So.
Yeah. Stuff like that. Oh man. I'm excited for next week though. It's gonna be fun. But
it is gonna be fun.
This here, I don't know. It does have a dark tone to it, obviously, because of what the priest is doing. But I still wish it was darker in a sense, or just, you know what it is? Maybe it's because it's a little older, and it's like the way they make this type of film now. You know what I mean? Like how my mind goes with the real dark. They really go with those darker tones now, even more so now. And I just kind of wish it had more of that tone to it. More of that, because I guess it had it as far as the story goes and the visuals go, but I mean, as far as the tone, it didn't really feel as dark as it should have felt. The way the story was told, in my opinion.
I think you will like Frightmare much more. And if one is kind of liking this film, and you've been out there and you've seen it, you're watching us, if you like it at all, watch Frightmare, because that is Walker's best.
There we go, Chad. That's what I'm talking about. See, Chad at Video Store Clerks. So you got to go check him out at Video Store Clerks, and he's telling you can never trust a priest. In horror movies, you can't. Well, you can and you can't, actually, because some of them, they come and they do the exorcist shit and they save you. And well, this one he doesn't save you.
I still never seen those new doorknobs that they tell you collecting for the new doorknobs. I don't ever see them changing those.
What are you talking about, James?
When they collect money in the church and they go, "Oh, this is a free fund to like get new doorknobs."
Okay.
Oh, that's just
And
The
they never
election plate. Yeah.
and they never do it.
nah.
Like, where's that money going, man? Pockets.
Oh, I was wondering about that.
Oh, the tapping? Yeah, it's going in the pockets.
Okay, I don't.
I appreciate that. Appreciate that, Chad. I'm just trying to tell you, man. You gotta. This is the one you have to use. That's the one you got to use.
Are we going to
Well
rate
done.
this?
Yes, James. Yes. What is your rating, sir?
Like I said, it was good. It wasn't great, so I'm going to give it a 6.
6. How about you, good sir?
I'll give it a 7.5.
All right, I'm gonna give this one. I'll give it a 4.5. I'll give it a 4.5. Wasn't bad, but just it was one of those ones that just didn't do enough for me to where it was just like, oh shit. But it was interesting enough to, of course, keep your attention and stuff. And that gold shit, that gold ball with the chain, that right there was cool as shit.
I think if that part wasn't there, Aaron would have gave it like a 2.
Maybe
he liked
I was
like
more
that
intrigued
scene.
by the amount of fire he had coming out of that, because I've seen those things in work a lot, and they don't look like a meteor on a chain. So
hey, listen, that meteor on the chain did the trick though. It worked. Yeah, that was the hook in people like me. Like, oh shit, you seen that?
And it was only in the 70s. It wasn't like fucking Scrooge days where it was like fucking oil lanterns or something. He's like shooting oil at people. Was it like a candle in there? How did it flame? Was that oil or was it just a candle?
It could have been oil, or possibly a
wax?
kind of an incense. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, the hell?
It basically is a large incense burner. I'm horrible. I went to Catholic school, and I can't remember what that's called right now, but it's.
He's gonna let us know by
right
next.
now it's called a head knocker.
because of
Next
Trevor's
week, I'll
brilliant
let you
mind.
know what it's called. Yeah.
He's gonna know what it's called because it's gonna be bothering him. He's like, what the fuck is that thing called? He's gonna look at it like, how the fuck did I forget this
You're
shit?
gonna get a text at 3 a.m. in the morning from me, Sturdy.
Yep. I'm gonna send that right to James when I wake up. James, this is what it is. Like,
It's a diffuser of some kind, but I know that's not the church's term for it, but it's a kind of a diffuser.
Hey, that's fine. That's something new I'll learn.
Hell yeah. And the reason I'm going to forward it to you, James, instead of telling you what it is because Trevor's going to have like this whole paragraph of what it is, probably even a link to it, so I can even brush up myself on it. And if I just break it down to you, I'll be like, yo, it's that gold ball thing with the chain. Like Trevor told me what it is. Pretty much just a gold ball thing with a chain and fire.
Yeah. Looks like there's a candle or something in there.
That's why I'm going to forward you the message. I'm not going to be able to break it down what it is. Oh man. But shit. I really have nothing else to say about this film. I don't know if you guys do, Trevor.
Oh, I yet again I have to, say that if
yeah.
Oh, Frightmare is where to start with Pete Walker. Not to be confused with Peter Watkins, definitely not. But this is Frightmare. Frightmare is one of the best of the independent British exploitation horror films. Now, when you talk about British Gothic or British horror films, usually the main thing that comes to everybody's mind is the Hammer Studios. And of course, they redid all the Universal horrors and a lot of other wonderful, bizarre films. So those were always your A-list horror films. Underneath that came a lesser but equally in certain ways successful company called Amicus, and they released a whole bunch of anthology films like Crypt of the Vault and all kind of fun things like that. But Frightmare is one of a lot of really cool indie horror films that came out of Britain in the 1970s. So yeah, Frightmare is if you want to get into British horror, I definitely recommend it. It's like in the top 5.
Top 5.
Top 5 for British horror films.
Nice.
Damn.
Yeah.
Here's another
Now
one.
this is a fun little film. It's sometimes called The Death Wheelers. It does go by the name Psychomania, and this is a film about a group of teenagers who are bikers, and the head biker's mother is connected to the occult. The lead biker is killed, but then the gang resurrects him, to which he then has them all kill themselves, and they resurrect as a zombie motorcycle gang.
Nice.
This is a crown jewel of
Oh,
bizarre
shit.
British cinema, and I highly recommend it.
That sounds fun.
We might
Yeah,
have
it's
to.
so it's
Hmm.
actually wonderful.
Might have to throw that one on the wheel.
Yeah. This by a gentleman named Norman J. Warren, who really was kind of the bargain basement of British exploitation horror directors. This is yet again is one of his best films. Features Michael Gough, which I believe, if I remember correctly, Gough won an Academy Award, or at least was nominated. Michael Gough does a lot of these weird little horror films. The best of the Satanic Panic films, and also early like folk horror. So I highly recommend that. And he is also a legend of low budget
Satan's Slave.
British. Yeah, Satan's Slave is a lot of fun. Also, really quick on. Well, wait, no, go to the next one. I'm sorry, I apologize.
No, go ahead. You can finish up.
Oh no, I got it confused. So.
Oh, all right.
Okay, so Horror Hospital, another one with Michael Gough in it, is just a lot of fun. It's kind of a bit of a science fiction film, and it's exactly what it is. It's the horrors of a private hospital. This guy named Anthony Blanc made it in 1973. He only made one other film, but it's really hilarious because he was one of the main documenters of the writer William S. Burroughs. And because of the guy who made the movie Horror Hospital, there's the dubbed version of the silent film about witchcraft, Haxan, exist because of this particular director. A little bit of a strange thing, but something that I learned recently that I thought was pretty cool. But it is just a fun, gory movie.
Nice.
And then one more. Boom.
Okay, so this is a fun one. This one was released by Amicus Studios. It was a take on the Most Dangerous Game, but brought into the idea of a werewolf. And it starred Calvin Lovelock and Peter Cushing. And it really is a very different werewolf movie in which there's never really an idea of who, if anyone, is a werewolf. But it also tries to take British Gothic horror and mixes it kind of into the blaxploitation genre. I never felt it was that way, but I see it coming up more and more in discussions. Calvin Lovelock had done several other roles, but it's a very distinct werewolf film where there are a lot of undistinct werewolf films. Also, Satan's Slave by Norman J. Warren. When I said that he can be kind of a bargain basement director, he also, just to make money, directed this horrible little film I think you guys have probably seen, Inseminoid.
No.
You don't waste the 75 minutes of your life, but
Inseminoid.
Challenge accepted.
Inseminoid, yes. Oh wait, I will put Inseminoid up against Blood Lake.
Oh,
I raised my Inseminoid. That didn't sound good. Maybe that should not have sounded bad.
But we can talk about that because I actually have some ideas I gotta kind of iron out for the whole Blood Lake challenge thing. But Inseminoid.
Yep.
I'm in.
Yep.
I'm in. Oh man. Why does we gotta talk about that though? Why does that why is that always like the thing? When someone's like, yo, this movie's fucking terrible, and just like, you know what, I gotta watch it. Versus, yo, this is the best movie I've ever seen in my life. I'm not in a rush to watch it when somebody says those words to me.
Well, you know, there's something, I mean, as fans of genre cinema, when you get really into it, you get really into it. You like to dig deeper and deeper.
That's true.
And at some point you're going to stumble upon cult cinema. And there are movies that are just so bad, even though the love was there and all the work was there and everything, it just still sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mono's Hands of Fate. Um, but you know, I think we're always, you know, always looking for Mono's Hands of Fate or The Room. We're looking for something that is not just bad, but is bad made in a loving way. So, you know,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't
Yeah.
think there, I mean, yeah, there are bad movies. I'm not going to say that. I was going to say
Oh,
there
there's
aren't,
terrible movies.
but there
And
are
there's
terrible films. Yeah.
and I mean, there's nothing wrong. I mean, because you know they say art is subjective and all that other shit. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with saying that. I mean, I give them credit. Listen, you made it. You created the movie. I've never done that in my life. You created the art. You did what you want to do. That's awesome. That's amazing. But it sucks. That's
Yeah.
fine to say. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, and that has actually become a full genre of cinema in itself. I mean, there's a
It really
reason
has.
why, everything in the kitchen sink like attacked everybody via a tornado. I've got to give props. Great friend of mine. She is a horror host. Um, we've never seen eye to eye, not because of any. Well, I mean, I love what she loves, but I mean, she likes bargain basement and like things that are like ripping off Charles Band, which is pretty low. But that's great if that's what you love. It's there for you. There are people making that, and uh, there's got to be somebody in every production that is going to feel joy because their work was noticed.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And I'll say this about, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, and I'll probably say it again after this.
Brand
But
Nine from Outer Space. Yeah.
as far as Blood Lake goes, of course, like I said, you give it credit for being made. I talked a lot of shit about that movie, and I always will. But you give it all the credit for being made, this, that, and the third. But then, like, you also give it credit for being as bad as it is. And the reason why I say that is because there's plenty of horrible movies that I've watched. Horrible. But they weren't at the point to where they were horrible and memorable. To that point where I'm just like, this movie left like a bad taste in your mouth. This movie left like, you know what I mean? It almost like hurt your feelings watching it. It was like, this movie is really, it's really bothering me. It's really pissing me off. And so like when I see a movie that's bad, the ones that I don't end up liking, I want it to at least be memorably bad, to where it's like, I don't want to say a wasted watch, but almost, yeah, in a sense, like I feel like it's a wasted watch because I forgot all about it. You could say the same thing about the good ones too, where it's like it's a good movie or a decent movie, but it wasn't like super memorable. It was like one of those one-time watches, and it was like it was good, but I mean,
Kind of
there's
like
nothing
going to
that's like,
see the Crow remake and then about 4 hours later looking at one of your children and go, "What did we do today?" Oh yeah, damn. Yeah.
it's funny you say that. I like that one, but
Did you
I
see the
get it
original?
to an extent. Yeah,
Okay.
I actually want to do a back to back with because I only watched the original one time.
I mean, there are some actual okay things about the new Crow, but they're not Crowish. Actually, all the really, really good things are just taken right from the John Wick movies, where it was filmed, pooling almost all of your crew from Eastern Europe. Yeah, it's not the Crow, it's Melanie Methy and Stevie Speed, die and then,
Oh
go
shit,
all
Melody
John
Beck.
Woo on somebody.
There's no way it's better than the original.
No.
The
And
original,
honestly,
even
I
the
mean,
soundtrack for the
the
original.
horse, was that supposed to be the equivalent of John Wick's dog? Yeah, that talk about things that were not explained, but that's for another show. Damn horse in an exploding trailer. I mean, yeah, that's trauma, but explain this here, you know?
Dig deeper into it, yeah. Especially with a movie like that, yeah. But I enjoyed it though, and like I said, I seen the original. I only seen it one time. I did enjoy it. I forgot what I rated it, but I may go back to it. I may go back to it just to do like a comparison between the two, and that's it.
The gore and the choreography were excellent.
Yes,
I mean, but that was about it.
That's what I loved about it. Honestly, was the gore, and the romance. I guess you could say, and it just, like I said, for me, for someone that's not a huge Crow fan, and like I said, I only seen the original once.
I haven't seen the new one yet.
It was a pretty good movie.
I love the original.
So, but someone like
Salvation look good.
So someone like you guys, I understand why you guys may not like or don't really care for the newer one, or when you see it, James. So I definitely get that. But we're gonna get on out of here, people. We'll be back on Tuesday at 8:00. Oh, I forgot what movie we're doing. Oh, Grotesque. And I forgot what country it is, but you'll know by Tuesday.
Canada, isn't it?
I think
Boom.
So. Yes.
Canada. So we're going to Canada. Going up north. Kyle.
We'll see you there.
The land that brought us David Cronenberg.
Sean.
Fire it up. Fire it up.
And
Chad, hopefully you guys are free.
And
nice.
Brought us call, Ryan Reynolds.
Uh-oh. We got to go before James gets hard. But people, listen, make sure you guys go check out Trevor over on Ambassador Radio and Media. The man is awesome. He's very knowledgeable, and he should, and I hope he does, start talking some horror movies on his show, because he has such a great, brilliant knowledge of it. I say foreign horror, like the strange foreign horror that people really don't get to hear about is the stuff you should be talking about on your show, because you know so much about it. And there's people out there, as you know, that love that shit, that just can't get enough of it, but don't know where to find it. You can be that guy.
You should do a live show where people gotta chat with you and try to stump you with movies. Have you ever seen this?
Hell yeah.
Well, I hope to in 2025 to possibly launch In the Realm of Fear again, which was a podcast that I created when I was doing my master's and then just shelved it. Nice. So possibly in 2025.
Can't wait. Can't wait. Oh, there we go. Edmonton. Well, I hope you're here with us next week to
Grotesque.
Yes. Look at that. Boom. Yep. Look at this. Over on Tubi.
Yes. Tubi.
Starring Jamie Hill. Ooh. Jamie, would you come on here and review the movie with us on Tuesday? If so, let me know. That'd be awesome. Appreciate that. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
See, now we got to stay here for a couple of seconds to see if Jamie's going to come on and join us, or at least in the comments and review it with us.
Yeah.
Let us know how you really feel about the movie. Because it's fun doing that. So I know we did it a couple times on here, James.
Yeah.
When we'll have actors or actresses come on here with us and review their film with us, and
it's always fun. I've always loved doing interviews, and it's amazingly, it's just like meeting somebody, when somebody tells you about what they've done, and sometimes people will have passions about what they've done that aren't necessarily like focused on much, and that's just always a joy to hear. So
yeah. Oh yeah. The ones, as far as for me, like the most entertaining or the most fun I've had with interviews is when I have people on, and when, like, again, me and James were talking about Monday, like, yo, let's just try it. It's when we're doing the review and the interview together, because then it makes the conversation a lot easier, and then it really makes them like there was a couple of times in a couple of the movies where we're like, what, why did this happen here? Or why did this happen there? And then they'll tell us straight up, this is why this happened, or this is why this happened, or this is the vision we were going for, and all that other cool stuff. So that's why I love like doing the review and the interview together. And then you get their honest opinion about the movie. Okay, after everything you went through for this film, what do you feel about this movie? What is your feelings? What is your true ratings?
Are
about
you
this
proud of it?
Yeah. I mean, you could be proud of your work and hate the movie because you're proud of you busted your
Yeah.
ass for it, and maybe you just didn't like how the story came out.
Or how it was edited, or
Yeah.
you know, how it was marketed once you signed a deal with like Gravitas or something. So no offense to Gravitas, but
Oh, you see this right here? I'll tell you what.
Oh
I
shit.
I accept that. We could talk about that at a different date, but I accept that we could do that. I'm probably not gonna change my mind about the movie, but listen, we could do a watch party with that. Get a few of us in there and have a good time.
Aaron, you should drop your email or
Oh yeah,
the other
you're
one.
right.
Can't contact you, you know, by magic.
It's in my actually it's in my
Oh, it's in your bio? Or
yeah.
your what's it called? Lincoln or
No, it's in my bio, but I will drop it right here as well. James, you're a freaking genius.
hey man, I'm just trying to look out for you, man. That's what a co-host is for.
Deal. October, we'll set it up. Shoot me an email about that and if you want to come on Tuesday or not, and we'll go from there. But thank you so much for stopping by, commenting, having a good time with us. We greatly appreciate it. And again, Ambassador Radio, guys, go check it out. And I see Trevor's deep in thought about that horror thing I was talking about. I know it was always in the back of his mind, but now that he's hearing it out loud, telling you, Trevor.
Yeah,
Telling you, it's a passion of yours.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a way you could probably tie it into music. I know I'm just making more shit for you to think about and do, but I also know you love doing research because you told me that. So
I'm also neurodivergent, so I have like 25 ideas going in my like list at all times that I know I can't. You know, I would also love to see, and I already have people planned. I'd love to put together like a heavy metal and extreme music talk show.
Oh, awesome.
Because I'm not seeing anything like that. And right now, there is quite a renaissance in metal and popular culture.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Well, thank
there you.
you.
Go, Trevor. Boom. 2025. There you go. You got your co-host, Trevor. Right there. Boom. Boom. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, we cannot wait. We cannot wait. Oh my Tuesday, you guys better tune in for Grotesque. Right here over on Horror with STURD-O-WEEN every Tuesday and Thursday. Every Tuesday and Thursday during STURD-O-WEEN, you know, September and October, and then we'll be back to just Thursdays. And also, so STURD-O-VISION, as far as the pod part, after this Friday, next Friday, I'm gonna pull that back until STURD-O-WEEN's over, just to kind of. But I am gonna have watch parties, and we will be doing Skinamarink. Am I proud about that? Am I proud of it? I am.
Skinamarink-a-dink-a-dink.
Skinamarink-a-doo.
I don't love you.
When I think of horror, I tend not to think of Jimmy Durante, but
so yeah, 2 more episodes of STURD-O-VISION. 2 more episodes of STURD-O-VISION until actually, it'll be gone to November after that, just like Wyclef. But yeah, so check out Horror with SirSturdy. Check out Popcorn and Pints. We're gonna be live this Saturday. What are we doing again, James?
Sleeping Beauty,
and
Treasure Planet.
Boom! Sleeping Beauty and Treasure Planet this Saturday, 9:00 Eastern time. You're not gonna want to miss that. I haven't seen Sleeping Beauty in years, and Treasure Planet I never even heard of till it hit the wheel.
Yep, never.
So, it's gonna be a fun time. It's gonna be a good time. Make sure you guys are over there and check that out. And with that